As a matter of fact, that's going to be in the kind of this is what it'll read like. It'll be, and you check it yourself. It's gold. There's that little preamble in the beginning of an autopsy report, and it generally states something like, this prosector was met at the morgue by technician so and so, officer so and so, down the line. So it literally enumerates everybody that's present in there. This autopsy was started at 30 hours on this date, and then they're going to go into.
And are they dictating as they go, or is someone taking notes?
Most of the time they're taking notes. Little interesting aside, how I got to work in the morgue. This is how I started. I worked as a scribe.
Oh, where you were writing?
I was, and I had to learn on the fly. So I would work with a forensic pathologist because they don't have the microphone. Mm-hmm. There's too much noise. You can't do it. And so I would sit there and just feverishly take notes, and I'm having to learn as I'm going. And I learned this as a young man. I was 20 years old, just sitting there on a stool, listening to everything that he said. And by God, you better not get it wrong. And having to take down measurements and all that.
So wait a minute,
because he's dirty and you're not. Your hands are clean, so they will walk over and write, and they'll write on a grease board. But if they're asking for specific notes, you're writing down for them.
So there's nothing that happens where, like, when I'm in a doctor's office, I'll see my doctor lean over after I tell him what's wrong with my ankle or something like that, and he'll make vocal notes of it and say, like, patient reports, blah, 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 blah. Right. There's nothing like that happens?
Most of the time, not in it. Again, variable. Okay. But in my experience, most will wait until they degloved, wash their hands.
So they will do it after?
They can.
Okay.
And depending upon their caseload, I've seen doctors sit down with all of their notes, and they might sit down. I've seen doctors dictate 8 cases in one day. And I don't see how they remember some of the stuff.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing to me. But with this case,
with those injuries,
you're going to step to. I mean, I can't state what this person did. I have no idea, but I know that you would want to do it while your memories were fresh. And that's a question that defense attorneys never ask doctors, which is kind of interesting. They never say, when did you dictate this? And how many other cases were you doing that day? I remember sitting down and having lunch one day with a guy, Dr. Gold, who did the autopsy on Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. And I just asked him straight out. I was like, and we were at an affiliate meeting in St. Louis, as a matter of fact, and I'd never met anybody from LA County Coroner. I'd seen Dr. Noguchi speak, but I was just sitting here, and it turns out this guy, and I was like, what's your typical day like? Like when you go into the shop, how many autopsies are you doing? He's telling me some days he'll do 12 and 13 autopsies in one day. And they were really short-staffed at that period of time. This is before the O.J. Simpson thing. So I was sitting there and was having a conversation with him.
It's like a dog groomer.
And then in the meantime, you're spending the next day. You're not on duty the next day. And by the by, you got to go testify. You imagine in LA County how many cases you have to testify in. So anyway, the volume sometimes, I wouldn't think their volume would be like that. Yeah. I'm just stating that. It's kind of wild, and you think about everything they have to retain at that moment in time.
So what happens if they finish on or about 1:30? ME goes in to dictate and all that. Where's the body? What might be a decent timeline for the body to be taken possession of to go to the funeral, the local funeral director?
Almost immediately. I've been present for autopsies where we sewed the body up. Sometimes,
how long does that take? 10 minutes?
At most, sometimes funeral homes don't want you to sew the body up because every time you do a baseball stitch like this, and every time you pull a needle through, that's another hole they have to patch if they're trying to preserve the body. So sometimes they will just say, leave it like it is, like that. And I've pulled bodies directly off of tables in a bag. We put them back in a body bag, or we'll do the autopsy in the body bag, pull them over onto the funeral director's gurney, and out the door they go.
Let me ask you one final question
Yes, sir.
before we go back to timeline.
Yeah,
Anything on the back of the body? Mm-hmm. So we did the Y, we did the neck, we did the head.
Yeah, they're gonna dissect there'll be a muscle dissection back here too.
Of
All
the
these
back of
muscles,
the neck.
yeah, there'll be, and all that stuff's going to be visualized. And you know how you asked me just a few moments ago about they're taking a look at the back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to take a look at the back again, because when you saw the back initially, this wasn't dissected, and so you literally have to reorient the body again with this being demonstrated back here to take the shot back here to say, again, either it's present or it's absent. And so that so the doc can not only see it for their own personal reference, but it can be demonstrated in court, because that's going to be a question. Certainly in this case, it's going to come
it
up.
would obviously fall below the standard to not do that to the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to do it. You've got to do this dissection back here, snap the photos, and then also if you do see evidence of hemorrhage, again, back to this idea of the macro, intermediate, and micro photographs, you're going to dictate it. Look, fellas, I know it's very tedious, but if you're looking to do something quick and dirty in forensic pathology, you're in the wrong field. It's like working on watches. Sometimes it's like, some days it's really, really easy, but you get something that's very, very detailed, it takes a while.
Okay, so going back to timeline, 1:30, you said it can happen quickly with the local funeral home taking possession of the body. And also at some point here, I remember you explained this to me in that first phone call we had shortly after his death, when I called you about all this that I was referencing earlier, how funeral homes will work like florists, because obviously he was then flown to a different funeral home in Arizona, which means they would have been in touch with the one in Utah saying what they wanted done with the body for it to get there. So maybe you can explain that. But like, what does the custody of the body look like after 1:30, and how reasonable is it for it to be in front of Erica Kirk and family at 12:30 or 1 o'clock that day local time?
I don't think that's an unreasonable amount of. To me, it's not. Given, and here's the thing about it, y'all. I don't know what kind of preceding prep they had done before the body is transported from the local funeral home. I'm not talking about from the medical examiner. The medical examiner will, clean the body, will wash the body after this. All right, to a certain degree, but not to the degree the funeral home will. Okay, so the funeral home would take possession of the body. They have to sign. There's a release document that you have to sign. And also, here's the interesting thing too. There's a personal effects log. Okay. So like typically if an individual came in with a wallet, rings, like wedding rings, that sort of stuff, that would be turned over. However, you think, we were talking about the necklace a little while ago. Well, how did she, if this is the way it happened, how did she get her hands on the necklace? Did it come from the ME's office, or did it come from another individual?
If Frank Turek can be believed, it came from him. He gave it to someone she knows who gave it to her.
Yeah.
So he took it off the body at some point before it was ever at ME.
Apparently, the police searched the SUV, and then he went back out to the SUV to grab his bag, and the necklace was there. He grabbed the necklace.
This is how this conversation is supposed to go. The conversation is supposed to go, oh, I found a necklace back here. It's got blood on it, and it's torn apart. Can you guys send somebody else back out here? We need to photograph this right here. And then it's none of my business at this point. And I'm talking about the finder. The police collect that. They take it into evidence.
Yeah.
That's how that conversation goes. It doesn't go any other way, period. And again, I don't know what's real and what's Memorex here. So I have no idea. So that would be the way I would view it. Anything. And so everything, any kind of effects that don't have evidentiary value would be released along with the body, like wedding ring.
What about a cell phone?
I got to tell you, if I'm an investigator, I want a cell phone.
He's a murder victim.
Right.
Someone might have texted him, sent him a message.
Yeah. I mean, cell phones are the new crime scene. I mean, that's the world that we're in now. Every cell phone plays some role.
Do you think it falls below the standard to hand the phone to the wife?
If you're in law enforcement, yeah, I do. Yeah. I mean, the ME shouldn't have anything to do with the cell phone. I mean, the body comes in with a cell phone. A case like this, hey, you guys need to get back over here. We got a cell phone.
Gotcha.
We'd like for you to.
But you think the
you
police
probably-
should have retained possession of the cell phone?
Yes. Period. Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything in the timeline here in this 24 hours, Baron, that you need more clearance on as far as
No.
what Joseph's laid out?
No, I mean I think you've done an excellent job.
Oh, well, thank
laying
you,
it
Baron.
out.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Thank you. Yeah.
It was enlightening because I've never been to an autopsy. I've never seen the results of an autopsy. I've seen pictures. I've read passages, but I've never seen it front to back like that. That was interesting.
Well, it's fascinating to me, just on an aside, to be able to participate in this. So thank y'all. I'm
Oh, we still got some more here.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying to be able, no, just to lay this out though, because my preference is for everybody should understand how the process works. And for years and years, people have always been so guarded, about what goes on in the morgue, how it's processed, because either people are offended by it or they just don't want to hear about it, but you need to know how this works.
Right.
And this is a key to this.
I also do want to say, Baron, I really, really appreciate you doing this second one today as well, because to be honest with you, I really felt sick to my stomach after the last podcast because I'm not the expert on this case. And frankly, I accidentally hung Joseph out to dry with a couple things on the case. No, I'm dead serious. And it made me really sick to my stomach. And the blame was going at you publicly, and it should have been going at me. And so to be able to do this with like the preeminent litigator, like public litigator on the case in this way is extremely helpful. And this is, in my opinion, I hope people out there agree, this is going great with laying out the details. So you can blame me for the last one there, but now we can actually go through everything. So timeline there set up. Obviously, once he's taken Arizona and it's a whole funeral situation now at this point, the evidence process is finished. Whatever's been fucked up has been fucked
Well,
up.
it's been collected. It's certainly not finished.
Yeah,
We're
I'm
just
sorry.
yeah.
So the collection, meaning like using his body as a piece of evidence to get everything you're going to need for any later testing or stuff like
Right.
that has been done.
Yep.
Okay.
You're on target with that. Yes,
Okay.
it is, and that's the key here, because once the body's gone out the door, you can't unring the bell at that point.
Okay.
So you have to make sure that everything you're going to collect, everything that you need, you have acquired at that point in time. So yes.